All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the BFG Show. Going to be coming at you with a couple topics that we're going to be talking about here in regards to the off-season, a couple subjects that I wanted to address. As far as team news goes, for those of you that do not know already, the OTAs have taken place. And OTAs are not necessarily something I do a whole lot of information gathering on, or I do a whole lot of time spent put into giving my opinion on, because OTAs are OTAs. Organized team activities, basically being a volunteer situation where if you want to show up, you can. If you don't want to show up, it's not that big a deal. You're not going to get fined. It's not mandatory. It's completely volunteer. But it is a very, very good idea for a lot of teams to have their players show up to OTAs. My personal opinion, and my opinion has changed over the years for the most part. But in my opinion, there were some players that didn't show up at the beginning of OTAs, and I think by the end of it, I think pretty much everybody was checked in as far as the roster was concerned. The big topic was, of course, Trent Williams not necessarily being there, and whether the big controversy is whether the team captain, which he is one of the team captains, whether he should have been there or not. To be absolutely honest with you, when it comes to organized team activities, I don't put a whole lot of emphasis on OTAs when you are talking about interior defensive and offensive linemen, unless if you're talking about somebody who is coming off of an injury and needs to get some work in. That is something that I would like to see an interior lineman do. If it's a situation we have somebody who's new to the system, to the scheme, that is something I think would be a good idea for them to come in and do. But when you're a guy like Trent Williams, who's been on this football team for God knows how long, and he's obviously, he knows his way around the playbook and has the command of the respect of the players in the locker room that he does, whether he is there or whether he's not there is not that big a deal to me, to tell you the truth. Interior linemen, not that important to me. However, if you are not an interior lineman, if you're taking a look at 7-on-7 drill situations, if you are anywhere near 7-on-7 drill operations, in my opinion, it is almost a must that you have to be there. I don't care how long you've been on this football team. You can't tell me that on 7-on-7 drills or situations that are going to help improve you in a 7-on-7 drill situation where OTAs are not going to be beneficial to your game. There's so much more that goes into football, especially amongst the defensive backs, and honestly also sometimes involving with the receivers and the quarterbacks. Team chemistry is a lot. Team chemistry is something that you can't coach. Team chemistry is something that you cannot put in a playbook and send home to a player or have them upload off the internet, off the server, or something they can watch documentaries on. Symmetry and that chemistry, you either have it or you don't. And there is ways that you can help improve that. There are ways that you can help build that. But there are some football teams that I have been associated with where I have played in a 7-on-7 situation where I have been on the football field with other defensive players, and you take a look at roster for roster, some of the other teams that I've played for where the talent was so much better. But yet, for some reason, at this lower level, we played so much better together, and it was because of the symmetry. It was because of the chemistry that exists. We played so well off of each other that if you take any one person off that symmetry, you take any one person off the field and put it in somebody else, it just didn't work. And there was no other explanation as to why I felt that could have worked other than the fact that we just meshed really, really well together. And I'm not saying that's something you need to strive for in OTAs, but OTAs, when you're working on 7-on-7 drills and you're working on schemes, you're working on a lot of different things to help solidify your end of the football, whether that's running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, defensive backs, linebackers. Those are all situations that need a lot of improvement. And after the defense we've had last year, I don't care if it's unorganized and off the books and off the record, and you guys are out there on a beach somewhere, on the coast practicing for Christ's sake. I don't have a problem with that either. I think any help that we can get, we are desperately going to need. So anybody that's involved in a 7-on-7 situation, whether you're a player or a coach, this is a situation where you have to take full advantage of it. And anything shy of a medical release is no excuse that's good enough for Burgundy Fly Guys to why you were not there, or the birth of a child. Other than that, I don't even care if it's a death in the family. This defense was ranked one of the last in the league last year, and I think a lot of sacrifices have to be made in order to get this organization back up to where it needs to be on the defensive front. Now, we've spoken a lot on the OTAs. One of the individuals that I want to point out, one of the individuals who's kind of made himself a little bit of a shining star in this offseason, and I don't mean that in a good way, an individual who has raised his hand and decided to be held on a different standard than everybody else because things aren't going his way. I'm talking about Matt Jones. Matt Jones has demanded a trade, he's demanded to be let go. He's demanded to be released. His agent has come out and said something. Apparently, Matt Jones has been making comments in the locker room and on the practice field, has been making comments amongst his friends, and now he's thrown his agent into the middle of this whole mix, where his agent has come out and has demanded that the Washington Redskins seek letting him go of his services with the 2017 season, basically releasing him so that he can seek employment somewhere else. This is a joke to me. This is a joke. You've got to be kidding me. Special Snowflake Matt Jones, I got a message for you. You're not playing high school football anymore. To piggyback off of that comment, you're not playing college football in Florida either. I don't know how they did things down in Florida. But here at the professional level of football, this is a living. This is a business. And if you're getting a paycheck, then it is incumbent upon you as an employee of an organization who's paying and signing your checks that you perform a particular service, because that company is paying you for your services. They're paying you a lot of money for your services. They're paying you a lot of money to get up and go to workouts, to get up and improve your station on the football field, to hone your skills at your craft. The craft, by the way, that you have chosen on your own, of your own free will. Nobody stuck a gun up your ass and told you to become a football player. Nobody shoved a gun down your throat and said you need to play for the Washington Redskins or you need to play for whoever else. I bet you have no problem cashing those checks, though. I bet you have no problem whatsoever taking that handout, taking that cash, and cashing those checks and living off of the eager means that you were making over in Washington. I bet you have no problem doing that. So in saying that and in doing that, you need to do what it is that this team pays you to do. If this team decides to cut you, it's because it's what this team has decided to do. Not because you've decided to roll around on the ground and throw up and pitch a bitch fit like my 5-year-old kid, when they were 5, or like some of these kids I see that hang around in Walmart supermarket lines that don't get their way. If you don't get your way, and if you're not playing to the level at which this team needs you to play at, that's not the team's fault. If the coach doesn't necessarily like you, that doesn't mean you get to take your ball and go home and go play for somebody else who appreciates you more. My nickel's worth of free advice to you is to tell your agent to shut up. You need to shut up. You need to get your butt on that football field, pick up your helmet, and check and see if your name is on that roster. Because if your name is on that roster, then you need to go to work. Some of us have to get up early in the morning and travel long distances to go work a meager job to make a meager paycheck. And it's not because we love to do it. It's not because we grew up all of our lives knowing that that's exactly what we wanted to do. We do it because we have to. We do it because we are being paid to do so. And it's good until we can find something else that pays just as much, if not better, to go earn that meager living. But not a lot of us get to get up in the morning and go put on a practice uniform and go put on a football helmet and in great weather conditions to go experience a sport that they love to play and play it on a daily basis. Not a lot of us get to do that. I would love to still be able to do that, to tell you the truth, and earn your paycheck. But the fact of the matter is, Matt Jones, is that you're deterring from the very simple fact that there are other glaring issues here. For one, you can't hold on to the football. For the life of me, I can't understand why you can't hold on to the football. That's a big problem. That's a bigger problem than whether the coaches really like you. That's a bigger problem as to whether you're the starter or not. That's really a bigger problem as to whether you can't see what's going on beyond the line of scrimmage or whatever. To me, that needs to be your number one concern. And as far as I am concerned, if I was a running back in your situation, I would be scouring at every single opportunity possible to get out on that football field and to prove these coaches that I still belong in this league. I'm not going to sit at home on my couch with my PlayStation controller in my hand and the phone up to my ear, pitching to anybody who's going to listen to me about how I'm not getting my way and I need to play for somebody else. You're sending a message out to the rest of the league that you don't want to play. You're sending a message out to the rest of the league that you don't deserve to be a running back, and you're not going to be in this league for very long if you keep doing what it is that you're doing. Talk about a guy who has $1 million body but a 10-cent brain. You're a moron if you think that this is going to work in your favor. What you need to do is go to practice. What you need to do is bust your ass in a football field. You need to shut this and you need to open this. That's what you need to do. So if I was general manager of this football team, which there's obviously an opening at this point for a general managership for the Washington Redskins, I'm taking you into my office and I'm saying, look, I realize you're not happy here. I realize that this is not the set of circumstances in which life has thrown you that is convenient for you. And I'm sorry that has happened, but unfortunately, we're paying you. And you're on the roster, and it's not because we love you. It's not because we're married to you. It's because right now we think we kind of need your skill set. It would be wrong of this organization to let you go, because if we suffer an injury at any one of these people at this position, then we are going to need you. So it would not be smart of us to let go of you. For us to let go of you because you think you're a special snowflake and you deserve special treatment would be dumb for us as an organization. And we're going to do what's best for us as an organization. So you can either pipe up and go to work and do what it is we pay you to do, or don't. And you're not going to be on this team for very long. So it'd be interesting to see how the whole Matt Jones situation works out. Honestly, I think the guy has a ton of talent. I just don't know if he has the heart. I don't know if he has the brains, to tell you the truth. I see potential in Matt Jones. There's a couple of things he really needs to work on, and they're workable. They're definitely something that he can work himself through and become a very, very good running back in this league. He's just choosing to concentrate on some very stupid things right now. So that'll do it on the Matt Jones front. Doug Williams. The Doug Williams situation is a very touchy situation for me. For those of you who saw the interview that I gave a couple weeks back, I was asked specifically if who my favorite Redskin was of all time, and Doug Williams was my favorite Redskin of all time. He still is, and he happened to have a season where I was a young man and got to watch him play and see how that whole thing unfurled, and then eventually see us hosting a Super Bowl trophy because of the efforts of that particular 1986-1987 football squad, which he was a part of. And I saw him usher in an MVP award that, frankly, cannot be matched ever again. There's only one first black quarterback that's ever going to grace the league, and he was definitely the one that got the mantle to do that. And that was awesome. That was great. And Doug Williams as a football player is somebody who I will always revere. I will revere Doug Williams as a football player. And anybody else who's won a Super Bowl for this football team, and the guy's got his ring up in the ring of fame for this organization for a reason, for a definite reason. I have been very, very impressed with his skill set, been very impressed with his body of work as a professional football player. Having said that, I'm going to take that opinion and I'm going to put it in a box and I'm going to put it over here because that's where it belongs. You cannot take away and you cannot change what Doug Williams has done for the sport of football, as well as the organization that is the Washington Redskins. But that should not influence you in your opinion of Doug Williams as the executive, as the coach, as the talent scout, as whatever mantle he has decided to wear or has been bestowed upon wearing after he hung up his cleats and turned it in for his suit and tie. His record off the field and his career off the field, albeit, has been very ambitious and admirable. He has accomplished a lot, to tell you the truth. As a man off of the football field and more of an executive position, he's been very, very ambitious. He's been very eager, and he's been well rewarded. However, having said that, he hasn't had the greatest track record. Doug Williams was not the greatest of coaches to sit in the head coaching position at Grambling. In my opinion, Doug Williams is not a good talent evaluator. He doesn't have the track record for you. Take a look at his track record, not only with the Washington Redskins, but also with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not all that great, not all that impressive. The one thing that I am kind of looking forward to with Doug Williams having this new position is that he is going to be a good liaison between the organization's executives and the players in the locker room. That's really one of the strong suits that I see him being able to play. He has a lot of really good relationships with people who are in that executive office. However, I do not see Doug Doug Williams being a general at the executive position. I see him as more of a yes man. I think that I think that what Bruce Allen has done has been very strategic, albeit it's been very predictable as well. That general manager spot is still open, and it's not going to be filled, to tell you the truth. I think right now Bruce Allen has the iron grip on decision-making for personnel in this organization. And let's not... I got it written down up here. Okay, Doug Williams before was the senior personnel director. He was a senior personnel director. So in the realm of personnel, he's the guy at the top. Okay, the senior personnel director. He's the one that's directing, the personnel and the, the whole conglomerate of the personnel and the makeup of the personnel on the football team. He's the senior guy. But he got elevated to the position of vice president of player operations. Player personnel. Vice president of player personnel. Vice president of player personnel and senior personnel director. I don't know what the difference is between the two. They both sound like senior personnel positions to me. Only one was a senior position and the other one's a vice president position. I don't know how the ranking system works over there. We still don't have a general manager, and according to a press conference, Doug Williams did not necessarily want the general manager position. Can't say that I blame him, but is there such a thing as a vice president of player personnel and a general manager? I don't know. All I see is a whole lot of the same thing. I am not impressed with any of the elevations or any of the musical chairs that is the Redskins front office as of late. I'm not impressed with any of it. None of it surprises me, but none of it blows my skirt up either. So it's a whole lot of the same old thing. And I don't want to go into too much. There's a lot of people out there who want to give Doug Williams a chance, and I understand that. Giving people a chance... We do a whole lot of that, to tell you the truth. We tried going out of the organization and bringing somebody in. That didn't necessarily work out the way that Bruce Allen wanted it to, and now Bruce Allen's going inside and promoting from within. If it's one thing that I can say about this Doug Williams promotion is that Doug Williams knows the direction of this football team. Doug Williams knows the personnel and the identity of this football team to bring other people in that are going to match that identity. That's the real only advantage that I see here. Unfortunately, we still do not have a person who is good or even excellent at player evaluation and talent evaluation in a senior general manager position. We do not have that. We were close. We botched that up. We messed that up about as much as you possibly can. We've got nobody else in here to do that. And I have zero faith in absolutely anybody and everybody below senior leadership with this organization that is going to have the capability of evaluating talent, whether it's in the draft or whether it's in free agency. I just don't think we have it. And I don't see this team really getting too much better because of it. You need to be able to get somebody in there who's going to be able to do a good job at evaluating talent. And I think that left when we ended up firing our last general manager. So looking forward to this particular season, I'm not going to make too many predictions. I'm kind of waiting until camp comes around and kind of seeing how things work out. I particularly don't think that a whole lot of things are going to get a whole lot better. I will kind of spearhead or kind of give you a little bit of foreshadowing as to what my opinion is. I just don't see what it is that we've lost being replaced by what it is that we've gained as far as success is concerned. It's going to be it's going to be interesting, to say the least, but I don't necessarily think that we're going to be in for great and wondrous and beautiful things as far as, making it into December and January as far as the playoffs are concerned. So also, I think this is a really good time to kind of mention that I'm going to be finishing up some of the videos that I have on my mini-series as far as what's in a pick. I've already come out with 2 videos. If you haven't caught those, catch those in my mini-series. It's in a playlist selection on my channel. Check those out if you will. I've got 2 more episodes that I am actually currently editing and putting the finishing touches on, and going to be uploading those fairly soon as well. So look forward to those. And as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much going to do it for me. I think another video is going to be coming out here pretty much when camp starts. Also, at any point in time in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be some news on the Kirk Cousins front, because the deadline for that is coming up. It's coming up right after the 4th of July. I believe it's the 15th of July, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty much a month from now. And that thing is heating up each week that goes by. We're getting more and more articles that are coming out on it. Not a whole lot of them positive, but you know what? We put ourselves in that situation, and we deserve every single bit of that. So look forward to a surprise video as far as that's concerned, if there is a change in the Kirk Cousins situation. So that is going to do it for me, ladies and gentlemen. We will catch you all next time. For us fans, the Twin Feather, we ride together. Redskins for life. We'll see you.